Shalom. Welcome to Parsha Wisdom from YCT. I'm Rabbi Dov Linzer, and I'd like to share with you a thought on this week's Parsha. For me, a major theme in this week's Parsha is silence. Now, what do I mean by silence? If you actually look at the Parsha, it seems that it's all about talking. It starts with Yehuda importuning Yosef to free Binyamin, Yosef breaking down, telling his brothers that he's Yosef, telling his brothers to go back to their father. The brothers go back to the father. They tell him that Yosef is still alive. Yaakov responds, I can't believe it. He goes down to Mitzrayim. God speaks to Yaakov. They come down to Egypt. They meet. They greet one another. And then Yosef goes to tell Paro that his brothers have arrived. He prepares his brothers for meeting Paro. Almost the entire Parsha is speech, is talking. Very little narrative. Everybody talking, everybody speaking. But ultimately, it's a type of speaking, it's a type of talking, I should say, that Simon and Garfunkel spoke about in their song, The Sounds of Silence. People talking without speaking. Everybody is talk. But is anybody saying what really deeply needs to be said? It's all about the business. It's all about the busyness. Where is that talking about ultimately what needs to be said after many, many years when Yaakov and Yosef actually encounter one another? When Yaakov finally sees Yosef, Yaakov says, Amusa hapam, acharei rosias panecha ki odcha chai. I can finally die because I've now seen you. I've seen that you're still alive. And what does Yosef respond? Does he respond, oh my God, Dad, it's so amazing to see you? No. He responds, Elev agida leparo. Oh my God, time to go. Nice seeing you, Dad. I know it's been 22 years, but I got to go talk to Paro. I'm busy. We'll talk later. Okay, there's so much to do. That's his response after all this time. It's all this busyness that fills up all the space. And nobody is talking about what needs to be talked about. Nobody is speaking. Where is Yosef saying, Dad, I missed you so much. Where were you? Why did you send me to my brothers? You know they hated me. Did you come searching for me? Did you want to know where I was? And Yaakov never says to Yosef, Yosef, what happened all those years ago? Did your brothers actually do this to you? I thought you were dead. And if you were in this position of viceroy, why didn't you send for me? Did you abandon me? Nobody is talking about what needs to be talked about. Talking without speaking. And actually there's a profound silence. As the song continues, fool said I, you do not know, silence like a cancer grows. That silence grew like a cancer. The fact that they were talking about everything under the sun, except that thing that needed to be spoken about, that profound silence that spilled the space, and everybody was afraid to broach that subject. And it comes out that even next week's Parsha, the next time we hear Yaakov speaking to Yosef, it's clear they haven't been communicating. Yaakov doesn't even know who his grandkids are. He knows that Yosef has kids. He doesn't even know who his grandkids are. They're not actually talking. They're not actually deeply connecting. Now, there is a time where there is some talking about what needs to be said. And it's the end of next week's Parsha. And it's after Yaakov dies that the brothers are afraid of what Yosef will do, how Yosef might finally use this opportunity to pay them back. And the brothers send word to Yosef and say, your father spoke before his death saying, please, Yosef, forgive your brothers for the evil they have done to you. And Yosef wept when they said this. Why did Yosef weep? I believe that Yosef wept because he knew that his father could never have said that. Because he never spoke to his father. They never talked about what exactly happened. So how could his father say, forgive your brothers? That was the topic that they were avoiding their entire life from the time that they had met once again. And he cried for that conversation that never happened. He cried for himself. He cried for his father. So I think with us, we have to ask ourselves, what is that silence that might be growing like a cancer? What is that talking we're always doing with our parents, with our kids, with our friends, that really we're talking around a silence that is growing and that we need to address, that is filling the room? Now, silence can be destructive. but it can also heal. An active silence, an active listening, a making space to hear, not fill that space. Share what needs to be shared. Talk about what needs to be spoken about. And then listen. Listen actively. Have a healing silence. And now, of course, is a time where we're not so filled with busyness. We're more in our homes. Opportunity to be more reflective. Opportunity to connect more to those people who matter in our lives. Let's make a point of connecting, of not only talking, but of speaking, and of really listening, and of filling that silence with what we need to, with those words that we're avoiding saying, that ultimately need to be said to create the healing that will bring us together. Shabbat Shalom.